going through the middle, just like he did before, and he was just nudged there, Alex. And Danielson got to the ball first before Moore. And that was just a crunching tackle.
But some of the skill was simply sublime.
And Tiato showing a bit of skill of his own as he skips past his man and whips it across, and that's a corner. Alex skips away from Johnson with ease. Still Alex going through the centre. This is brilliant. Alex!
The Samba Kings danced their way through the Australian defence twice on Sunday for a convincing 2-0 win.
Tierson going outside. Great cross! And a great goal as well by Alex.
Brazil are aiming for Olympic gold, but Farina's men just want revenge.
To be tonight's referee, Scotsman who's settled in Australia. And the two attackers for Brazil tonight, Vale, the number 9, and the number 10, a Lincoln. But after the disappointment on Sunday, the Australian team are thoroughly professional in the sense that the comment they made was just a one-off performance. And you really are only as good as your last game, and that's what the Socceroos bring into this game, hoping to put on a performance that has the Australian public purring about their quality once again. This is not a bad start for the Socceroos as they come forward. And Tony Vidmar, who will play at left back tonight. Agostino, nicely played. Little touch off. Viduka early on. Still Viduka. Played across. Oh! Off the feet of the goalkeeper. Welcome back, Mark Viduka. And within 30 seconds, Australia have had a more meaningful attack than they had throughout 90 minutes on Sunday. Agostino with the little back heel. Viduka had men all over him. He still managed to get the shot in. Corner to the Socceroos. Maloney takes it, and that's the second one to Australia. Well, shades of the Iran match here in 1997 when Australia just bombarded their opponents in the opening 2 or 3 minutes. Maloney again. Well, it would have gone in if the fullback had missed it. Tiato. Viduka flicks it on. It's an Australian throw. Well, there is still somewhat of an injury cloud over Mark Viduka. Problems with his quad the whole time he's been in Australia. He did go for a walk this morning. He trained lightly yesterday, so just have to watch him closely. It's a foul against Viduka this time on Marcos Paulo. Well, I did talk to Frank Farina before the game about the tackling on Sunday. He felt near the end of the game his players were getting a little bit frustrated, and perhaps there were a couple of challenges that he wasn't too impressed with, but the instructions haven't been totally different tonight, though he has laid down the law that he doesn't want anyone sent off for anything stupid. Michel forward for Brazil, and that's a foul by Ocon. Ed Lenny very quick to get in, blow the whistle, diffuse any situation that might crop up, and he talks to Paul Ocon there. Free kick was taken quickly. Well, this is just a great moment for Ocon, a player who's suffered so badly with injuries over the years since he's been in Europe. Captained Australia in 1991 in the World Youth Cup. Now captaining the full national team at the age of 27. Tiato touches it on. Agostino getting there, just trying to help it forward to Viduka. Tiato again. And that will be a Brazilian throw, but it's been given to Australia. And Mike Cockrell, this is a cracking start by Australia.
Yes, Paul, and that first foul by Paul Ocon, our friend Mr. Luxemburgo, and a couple of Brazilian officials straight off the bench, remonstrating with the referee. But I did speak to Eddie Lenny just before the match, and he made it clear he wasn't going to be intimidated by all the bad press that the Australians have been receiving the last couple of days for their tackling.
Tony Vidmar not showing any signs of pulling back, and there was a little nudge in the face there for Tony Vidmar, and he's gone down. There's no signs that the heat has gone out of the contest between these two sides. Viduka tackled. Vidmar still down in an offside position, holding his face. And that's a Brazilian throw. Well, Tony Vidmar had several players around him when he went into the corner. He lost the ball there. And you just see the hand come out from Michel, and perhaps he got a finger poked in his eye.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, the guy is balancing. He knows that Tony Vidmar is going to chase him. He just wants to palm him off. But unfortunately for Tony Vidmar, he palmed him off right in the eyeball.
He stayed down for a long time. As we take a look here, he was outnumbered by 2-1. And it's a bit difficult to say from that angle just exactly what happened, but play goes on. Australia will just play with 10 men for the time being. I wonder how the nerves of Steve Labert are going in the heart of the defence, but Australia still showing signs of coming forward. Maloney playing it in early. No pressure on Alexandre, the Brazilian keeper. I just wonder whether Tony Vidmar wears contact lenses, the way he was just holding his hand out there with some water going into the palm of his hand there. Tiato straight to Michel. Ball goes back to the Brazilian number 4, Milton Duo. Tierson. And Nielsen hardly had a touch yet for the Brazilians. It's a nice switch of play though. Look at the room on this side for the fullback Michel. Well, the pass was aimed for Adriano. Well, still Tony Vidmar is getting some treatment. It wasn't actually for an injury, it was a contact lens that needed to be replaced. He will now rejoin the fray. We've had just over 6.5 minutes here at the MCG. That southern stand is absolutely packed with people. It's a great crowd in tonight and a beautiful Melbourne evening as well. And Viduka could have made it perfect for most of the fans here with an early goal. This is nice interchange from Brazil. Yellow shirt streaming forward, but a strong intercept from Tony Vidmar. And Skoko also strong on the ball. Here's Agostino. Nicely laid off to Tiato, who will always run at his man if he can. He's being outnumbered. Well, interesting to note there, Paul Wade, that as soon as Tiato had a look at his fullback, a second defender came in very quickly. Yeah, and Michel's got it sussed out. I mean, they've obviously looked at the video over the last couple of days. He's going to try and force Danny Tiato inside, because Danny loves to go on the outside. Every single time he beat Mancini on Sunday, he went outside. That's where he's most dangerous. They realise they're probably outnumbered in height in the middle because Viduka and Agostino. So not only are they doubling up, but they're trying to bring him inside to make sure those crosses don't go in. Danielson getting hassled on the ball. Ocon almost getting in there. Ocon challenging strongly. Mozart fails him. Lucky break there for Skoko, but he just couldn't get there as we take a look at Ocon going to ground. And Paul Ocon does play in midfield for his club team, Fiorentina. So it's no problem adjusting from sweeper to central midfield for him, and that's a dangerous ball. Labour, very calmly played by the youngster. Ocon taking over. Switching play to Vidmar in space. After 9 minutes, it's Australia 0, Brazil 0. We've had just under 10 minutes of the game. It's a little early, but I know you've been looking hard at the Australian lineup, in particular the new 4-4-2 system. What are your early thoughts?
Well, I'm very impressed with the fact that Paul Ocon is demanding that ball in the middle of midfield. You know, when they talk about Ned Zelic having a poor game, I didn't think he had a poor game because he wasn't on the ball that long. You can only have a poor game in my mind if you're actually giving the ball away. Well, Ned Zelic never got hold of it. Paul Ocon is demanding that ball. He realises that if they are going to get control of this game, they do have to, there's Frank Farina, the coach, he has to get the ball in the middle of the midfield. That's where a lot of the damage, the Brazilians do a lot of their damage. The balls from the midfield to the strikers and shut the gates.
Given away by Brazil. Skoko to Viduka, outside. This is another good move for Australia. It was blocked. Kevin Muscat joining in. Still plenty of green shirts forward. Viduka playing it across. Tremendous goal by Agostino. Well, the Melbourne boys, Viduka and Muscat combined. And it was the V-bomber who played it across superbly, and who was waiting in the centre but Paul Agostino. And listen to the roar of the MCG. Well, Muscat joined in superbly. His first attempt at a cross was blocked. But Viduka said, "I'll go near post," and he held it up well. And just look at that. And there is Agostino.
Yeah, he out-muscled Michel, didn't he? The number 2, have a look at this. Paul Agostino's a big boy. Didn't take much to out-muscle him, but Kevin Muscat down that right-hand side. That's exactly what Frank Farina wanted. Get the ball wide to Danny Tiato on the left and Kevin Muscat on the right. They've played to their instructions, they've done as they're told, and they've got their reward.
This is his 31st international game, so Australia's most experienced player out there now. It does augur well for Australia in a start in this first half, and the defensive back four has been very tight so far as well. No Alex Tobin in the heart of the defence. In fact, Sunday's game was the first international in 19 that Alex Tobin didn't play for Australia. This is great play by Australia again. Viduka just had no real room to move there. Oh, mistakes by Brazil. Tiato picks up the ball. Nothing on for him, so he attacks the fullback. Back to Ocon. Skoko. Nowhere really for him to go, so he brings more into the game. This is tremendous play by the Socceroos. Maloney. Muscat's going out wide again. Here comes Muscat. Agostino's on the edge of the box. Muscat went all the way. The ball just ran away from him. We'll talk about the Brazilian fullbacks getting forward. Kevin Muscat has been outstanding in the opening 15 minutes so far. Comment from Frank Farina after the loss on the weekend was better to lose now than go 14 games unbeaten and to lose the big one in the World Cup qualifier, which is what Terry Venables did as Australian coach. Agostino running at the defence. Now he brings Tiato in. They just underhit the pass there, which is a real shame because it was a promising build-up again. Now Brazil forward with Lincoln. Tierson on the left-hand side. Maloney across very quickly to close him down. And Tierson goes past Maloney. With the ball inside, it will go back to Kalatz. Luxemburgo is off his feet just a moment ago, screaming at his players. Not the sort of start he was looking for. Well, look at this. More signs that this Brazilian defence is nowhere near as composed as Sunday's. A mistake coming in there from Jean. Well, just came off his thigh there. Corner to Australia. Tiato across to take it. Goalkeeper comes and gathers fairly simply. It's an important game for these Brazilian players as Luxemburgo made 8 changes to the side that was outstanding on Sunday. As Viduka is outstanding so far here, and he got away from his man there. The crowd wanted him to go on. Well, sharp turn by Viduka. I was chatting to Ed Lenny before the game, and he said that European players actually prefer free kicks to be blown up rather than the advantage played, which is requested so often by English and Australian players, so perhaps that's the reason why. That's way too big from Vidmar. Paul Wade, this Brazilian side have not looked a shadow of Sunday's team.
No, I guess when you do make so many changes, it's going to take you a while to settle down. And they haven't settled down at all. They haven't settled down because they haven't been allowed to settle down. And that man there on the ball right now is causing all the trouble. Not only is Paul Ocon running the show in the midfield, every time Mark Viduka gets the ball, he never releases it, never gets it taken off him, draws 2 or 3 players, and that's what causes problems, because then he can release it to a wide player and get himself in the middle.
Basket into the back of Mozart. And Lincoln coming awfully deep to get in the game. It's a foul by Labert, who's settled very well considering it's a mighty big occasion for a young man. Then Nielsen, just look at that. It's Australia 1, Brazil 0. Tierson just keeping the ball in. No, that's more like it from Denilson. That's what the crowd have come to see. That was quite brilliant from the Brazilian captain. Into the area with the cross. Kalatz was waiting for it. Perfectly placed. And now Maloney tries to take advantage of the fact that Denilson is well forward. Ocon, Agostino, Viduka really have a lot of room to move in there, Mark Viduka. Then Nielsen again, running at the defence. This time, the second man got back to stop him, but this is what he's capable of if you just give him too much room. That was brilliant.
I often wonder why clubs pay $55 million for footballers, just one man alone. And you've heard the crowd cheer a couple of times when the Brazilians have had it, and special moments like that is what people talk about when they go home in the car.
Mathiesen looking for a special moment of his own. Danielson's out wide on the left. This time Muscat was back there and was in control. Viduka almost stole it off Mozart there. Skoko, Maloney joining in. Brazil come away with the ball. Adriano forward, still Adriano, lines one up! Well, you could see what he was trying to do there, the 22-year-old. He had plenty of room to run at the defence. Plenty of time too to just decide what the option was. Moore kept backing off. Just tried to curl it into that top-end corner. Khaled is a hard man to get the ball over the top of. Space here for Adriano again. Brazil starting to come into the game a little bit more. Loose ball gets there. Great work by the Rangers man. The ball breaks for Viduka. First time layoff to Tiato. Is a good one. Ocon wants it. The switch is a good one as well to Maloney. Into the area, whips it to the near post. Skoko, still Skoko, takes the shot. Well, more reason for Frank Farina to be convinced that the changes have made have been good ones.
You know, down that right-hand side, Paul, you've got Kevin Muscat going 1 minute, then you've got Brad Maloney going the next. And Jean, who's supposed to be playing left-back, wouldn't have a clue who's coming when. He is drawn inside, and then there's a big gap in that left-hand pocket. He is in all sorts of trouble.
Tiato with the corner. Labert was there. Fouled his man when he went forward, the young Brisbane boy. And Mike Cockrell has got some more news from the benches.
Yes, Paul, Frank Farina a little bit worried about how quick this game has been played at the moment. He's issuing instructions to his players to just slow things down, keep their shape and just keep it tight at the back. He doesn't want Brazil getting too many opportunities on the counter.
Another free kick to Brazil. Come into the game just a little bit more in the last 10 minutes or so. Lincoln. Offside was Adriano. Only just though, it was very close. Kalatz is very confident with the ball at his feet. Even on the left foot as he picks out Tiato. Well, it's no secret that Brazil have got Olympic gold medals on their mind, and that's part of the reason why they're here in Australia. They have made the Olympic final twice, in 1984 and in 88. They came third in Atlanta 3 years ago. Beating Portugal 5-0 in the third v fourth playoff. The goal has been elusive. And Luxemburgo did say this week he'd like to bring this Brazilian Olympic team back again before the Olympics, provided they qualify. Well, Viduka, look at this. He really is confident at the moment. That one didn't quite come off, but he's just oozing with confidence.
Now, I asked him how much trouble he was actually having at Celtic getting away, and he said no trouble at all. I told the manager I'll be back in 10 days. So he was dead set sure that he would be playing both games. Unfortunately got that injury, but boy, he was looking forward to playing in front of his home crowd.
Well, he's in great form. 14 goals so far this season for Viduka. As we take another look at how he alluded to, and then the applause coming from the Australian bench. They can appreciate just the level of confidence that it takes to do something like that. Oh, what a mistake by Kalatz. Danger here. Well, he holds up his hand. only 60 seconds ago that I said how good he was with the ball at his feet. And look at that, should have been an equaliser really, but the shot was from Vale straight at the goalkeeper. Well done, Nielsen, the Brazilian captain. That's a lovely bit of work. Dummying for Atierson. Danger here for Australia. Atierson forward, whipped across. Moore was there. Lincoln, foul now. Quite amazingly, this is the first set-piece opportunity for Brazil outside the Australian penalty area over the 2 games. And Vidmar into the back of his man there. And that's a testimony to the discipline of the players, really, because I'm sure Frank Farina has warned them about Brazil's prowess from the set-piece. Just checking the near post, just 5 in the war for Australia. Everyone's back for the Socceroos except for Paul Agostino. But Den Nielsen, the obvious taker of the free kick with his left foot. Well, what can the Brazilian captain come up with here? 5-man wall for Australia. Den Nielsen takes it over the wall. Well, even though you know exactly what he's going to do, it's still hard to stop it. Just see how close it was here. Perhaps about a metre wide, but Kalatz didn't look too perturbed by it all.
Wonderful by Frank Farina suggesting that the players slow it down. If he wouldn't be better allowing them to slow down naturally as a progression of the game rather than saying to the boys slow down, because what so often it can do is...
Skoko's just trying to play it in for Viduka. Well, not too far away, but that's certainly the sort of area that Viduka loves the ball. Go on, Wadey. I've got to be carried away for a second. Oh, Viduka almost went through again.
You had every right to. What it actually does is it makes the players relax. Slow it down can often mean in the heat of battle, just take it easy, take your foot off the pedal. Now, naturally, that will happen in a game of football because you'll get tired, but you'll get your second win. Now, with 5 substitutes, I think that Frank Farina probably has every right to have a real good go at this team at 100 miles an hour, and if they do blow a gasket, then replace them. So often, I just don't know whether it would be the right thing to say to the boys, slow it down and keep your composure.
Well, certainly Australia started like a house on fire, and it paid dividends with the early goal by Agostino. Now Den Nielsen running at the defence. Australian foot on the ball was enough. Mozart picks up a loose ball. Lincoln going deep. Marcos Paulo. Stolen by Viduka, was it? Not quite. And the ball fell free to Agostino. Viduka's going through the centre. Moore in quickly. Maloney now. Inside is Ocon. Viduka. Ocon flattened after the pass had been played. Muscat had something to say about that too to Eddie Lenny. Fouled by Den Nielsen. Well, the comments from the Brazilian press after the opening game was so far so good for Luxemburgo and the Olympic team. They were demanding a mob of journalists as he came out of the first clash with thumbs up from all the Brazilians, both here and back in Brazil. Just wonder what they'll be saying after this performance so far. fairly handy bench to call on though, Luxemburgo, so just see what changes he decides to make. More good build-up from Australia. Tony Vidmar keeping it in, coming inside himself. Agostino. Ocon. That's easily cut out by Muscat. Maloney just tidies up, going back to Moore. Ocon prepared to look forward at every opportunity. Tiato under pressure and lost the ball. Mozart giving the ball away. Skoko joining in. That's a nice turn from Ocon, just opening up the whole left-hand side of the park for Australia. In space here is Tiato. Oh, he got past his man, but was just obstructed. Australia 1, Brazil 0. So far, Michel, the Brazilian right back, has kept Tiato quieter. That's a good ball played in. Maloney first to react to the loose ball. He's got 2 men on him though. We're really for it to go. He's been fouled. Well, all of a sudden, on set pieces, with Steve Labert in the team, Mark Viduka in the team, Australia looked far more menacing. Whipped into the near post. Maloney back into space, the flag goes up for offside. 1, Brazil 0. Just under 7 minutes to go here at the MCG. Vale tangling there with Labert. Tiato back helping out. Moore is in a deep position. Kalatz is very deep. His goal line, of course. Frank Farina has added local players. Pablo Cardozo from Sydney Olympic. Clint Bolton from the Brisbane Strikers to a squad as Australia look to come forward here. Viduka, sharp turn is a good one. Players waiting in the centre, the shot comes in! Well, Muscat again providing the real penetration for Australia, and I think that shot just about clipped the post as Muscat cut in on his left foot. He has scored once for Australia, and that was about half a metre wide. The goal he did score was in very similar circumstances, galloping down that right-hand side. Well, there's no smile on the face of Frank Farina, but I'm sure internally he is quite delighted with the way his side has taken to this game. So loose one, Tiato's there, but his foot was up. Call, I must say. We'll take another look. I'm guessing that Eddie Lenny gave it for studs up there, Wadey. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I must say that while he just caught him, he did catch him from behind, but I still think that Danny Tiato's feet were high on the tackle just before that. I must say, though, that Kevin Muscat, the reason I say that Kevin Muscat's a better player than that, he showed us with that attacking run. There he is, getting involved on that right-hand side again, knocking the ball around, cutting inside. That's the sort of Kevin Muscat that he's capable of being, exciting the crowd. That's the sort of Kevin Muscat we want to see more of, and not the other one.
Viduka is waiting, using all his body. Terrific attempt there by Viduka. He's so strong. Well, Ocon naturally aimed right for Viduka. He held off his man and he won the ball, and gee, it was close. The Brazilian coach, has got a lot more work to do at half-time this time than he had on Sunday. Mozart and Tierson. Danielson skips past one with a little shimmy that was blindingly fast. Inside. This is better from Brazil. The little layoff was just too quick though from Vale. Given away. Well, it's important now at the final stages of the first half that Australia keep their composure, keep their shape at the back. As Danielson works into the area, taking on Muscat. Danger here for Australia. What will he come up with? A little dribble was superb. Callatz. Well, he read that brilliantly. He's probably the only one that did, because everyone else was following the hips of Danielson and we were all over the place. CG is just buzzing as the wave goes round, and as Danielson shimmies and swings his hips, and the scoreline reads Australia 1, Brazil 0. From Vidmar, gives away the foul. Taken quickly, Marcus Paulo wanting to get on with the game. Tierson, foul by Maloney. Australia did face some criticism on Sunday for their heavy-handed approach to the tackling against the Brazilians. It's a nice ball for Vale. He's gone down. Goal kick is the decision. Brazilians hold their head. Vale asked the question. Craig Bourne just smiles about it all. Very close. Was there contact between Muscat and Vale?
Well, the only reason he probably didn't give him is because Eddie Lenny was following by about 5 yards just behind him. I think Vale was intending to go down anyway. Got a little touch, but the intention of going down convinced Eddie Lenny that he wasn't going to give a penalty.
Well, certainly the referee, Eddie Lenny, had a great view of it. We're in the final minute of the half, and it's a half that's just flown by. I hardly believe it's almost time for the half-time break. Danielson playing a great pass. Tierson overlapping outside him, still going across. Callatz has dropped it. Australia get the ball away. But credit there to the Australian goalkeeper, Zelko Callatz, because he had no right to come for that ball almost. Only his incredible reach stopped it from going straight to one of the yellow shirts in the middle. But Danielson and Tierson down that left-hand side are warming to the task. Let's take a look at this. Fine ball. Tierson keeping onside but taking it to the limit. Callatz was all the way there, challenged by Adriano, and Steve Laban it was who tidied up.
Yeah, there he is, Big Spider. He's gambling, isn't he? Going out to the 6-yard box. But when you're a keeper in form, and that's what Zelko Callatz is, You almost read the body language of the guy who's going to cross the ball, and he's so confident at the moment that he's taking these chances and he's winning them.
Well, Mark Viduka was surrounded by 3 Brazilian players there when he was fouled. Vidmar plays the free kick in for the second time. It's just gone too far. There's an interesting comment, Wadey, during the week from Mark Viduka as the half-time whistle goes. We'll just talk about that perhaps in the second half, but Australia, the half-time break here, have a very handy 1 goal to lead thanks to Paul Agostino, who got on the end of a Mark Viduka cross for a simple header early on in the first half. And this is very much a different Australian team tonight than we saw on Sunday. Luxemburgo, the Brazilian coach, the shoes on the other foot tonight. He's the one that has to go and do the hard yards with his players. At half-time, Mark Viduka had a header that just whistled past the post. It could have been 2 to Australia. But at the half-time break here, after a scintillating first 45 minutes, it's Australia 1, Brazil 0. We're going to take a short break and be back with more in just a moment. Have proven to be a bit of a handful for the Brazilian defence. Mark Viduka, subject to strong rumours that he may be going to Inter Milan in Italy's Serie A, of all places, with Ronaldo moving on to other parts, and that really would be a big move for big Mark Viduka. More news on that in the ensuing weeks, I'm sure. But Paul Agostino's goal in the 11th minute of the first half was the first time ever that the Socceroos have scored against the Brazilian national team in a full international, though the debate still rages on whether this is an A international or not. But ask any of the players out on the park whether they think it is, and I guarantee what they'll say. They'll say absolutely. There's Danielson for Brazil. 2 men on him. There's an awful lot of players to get through. Gets past 1 anyway. Danielson again. Maloney helping him out. Well, already Brad Maloney teaming up better with Kevin Muscat at the start of the second half, like Graham Arnold said he wanted to. As Muscat goes in and takes the ball. Helped on to Viduka. The layoff to Tiato. Coming inside. It's nice play from Danny Tiato. Look at the space on the right-hand side for Brad Maloney. Tiato plays him in. Here is Maloney. Early ball. Ocon brought that down off his shoulder somehow. Switching it for Tiato, who won the ball in the air, but Mozart was there for Brazil. Wadey, surprised that there were no changes in either lineup?
No, not really, because I think from the Brazilian point of view, Luxemburgo has decided that he's going to change his team altogether, because, as I say, it's all preparation for the year 2000. So 45 minutes is not long enough for a coach to actually get a grip on and see the quality of the players at hand. And I think that, yeah, it's quite understandable why there are no changes. He wants these players to deal with the problems they have with the Socceroos at the moment. Why would you change the Socceroo lineup? This is the best football they've played in a long time, so no changes there either.
And Ocon, slick first time pass to Maloney, inside is Viduka. But we're really for Maloney to go now. Instead goes back to Skoko. Muscat. Don't really have any choice really, but just nudge it down the line. Ocon out-muscles Danielson as foul. There was great anticipation there by Paul Ocon, just guessing where Danielson would control the ball and getting in very quickly indeed. Captain's armband looks good on him. He's enjoying it. He's playing up to the occasion as well, the Australian skipper. Good ball in. Green shirts were streaming in on that one. It's played across. The danger not over for Brazil yet. Skoko. And the shot is well wide by Tony Vidmar. But constantly on the set pieces, Australia look to have the measure of their opponents. Just that extra height and size makes a big difference as Den Nielsen is fouled by Maloney. Well, under instructions from his coach, he's getting back quickly to help out. Fouls in the game so far. And he even counts as well. Michel closed down quickly by Danny Tiato. Michel, the Brazilian right back. It's his birthday tomorrow. He's 22 years of age. And he won't forget his night at the MCG in a hurry. These Socceroos are warming up currently at the moment. Signs that Marino will tinker yet with his lineup as Ocon plays it into the area. That's picked up by Skoko. Skips past one. Well, pushing it back by Craig Moore on Vanley. But it was in fact, and here we go. Ocon tangling. Well, it blew up into far more than it ever promised to be. It was just a little push and shove until all the other players got involved. Eddie Lenny, to his credit, has just diffused the situation fairly quickly. There's no doubt it's a Brazilian free kick. Sure what happened there. Well, there you go. Ocon picked up the ball. Vale wanted to get on with the game quickly. Talk about a storm in a teacup. And Nielsen touched it inside to Mozart. And Vale got there. That's a foul. It's another one to Maloney in a short space of time. Luxemburgo off the bench again.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm going to have a go at the Aussies for brutal tackles, I've got to have a go at the Brazilians for diving, and I think that that was a dive. He knew that if he touched the ball and just let himself fall down, he'd get a free kick, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, none of the free kicks are particularly aggressive or violent. It is detracting from the spectacle, though, by having so many niggly little stoppages in the game. Mozart. Look at the space here for Den Nielsen. Three players waiting in the centre. That is a Brazilian corner. The first of the match coming in the 52nd minute. Callants comes out but doesn't get there. And it was one in the air in not dissimilar fashion to the number 4 Alvaro on Sunday by tonight's number 4 Milton Duo. Corner taken. Big centre-back coming forward at the far post. But just a bit too much heavy traffic this time for Milton Duo. Ball goes back to the goalkeeper. Give it to Agostino. Big chance here for Australia. Only the goalkeeper to beat. And the danger only now has drifted away. But the ball's been given away again by Brazil. But it was handed to Paul Agostino there, the back pass. And straight away Brazil are down the other end with Den Nielsen coming inside. A little ball was played or aimed for Vanley. Mozart. Vale. Adriano. Well, dangerous times at both ends. 31 fouls in the match so far in 55 minutes. It's a fairly large total, but we're still yet to see a yellow card. Well, number 17, Ronaldinho. Number 16, Alex. The big guns are coming on for Brazil.
Well, we never said it was going to be easy over the next 45 minutes, did we? And you know that Luxemburgo is looking for a result here, as well as, you know, trying to get a unit of 11 players or testing out players he hasn't seen for a while. So, yes, Brazilian football, it's all win, win, win. And if you don't, then you know you're going to cop a scathing back at home.
That's a great ball as Skoko joins in the attack, and there's Viduka laying it off to him. Still Viduka, Skoko, nowhere really for it to go. Australia still have the ball. And that's a nice turn by Agostino. Still Agostino, this time the foul's given, and rightly so. Oh, Skoko, Viduka and Agostino there really ground out that chance by being super strong on the ball. Agostino did well. Look at the turn. Touch of Brazil in him. Well, he made his impact in Australian football as a 16-year-old when he was playing NSL and banging in the goals for West Adelaide. He went overseas very young. So he's a player that we're enjoying getting to know, Paul Agostino. He's now 24. Everyone's leaving this to one man, Mark Viduka. At the MCG, he'd never been to the MCG before the game against Iran 2 years ago. He's over the ball here. Viduka. Well, he feathered it over the wall. Brazil are making some changes. Lincoln is coming off. Adriano is coming off. Alex and Ronaldinho are coming on. Well, Ronaldinho had a very quiet game on Sunday. He was dizzy after the game, in fact. Luxemburgo said he was the player feeling the jet lag more than any other. There's no signs of that from Viduka. Australia start the second half in the same vein that they started the first, with Viduka very much to the fore in attack, with the good support act being played by Agostino. Didn't quite catch it cleanly. There's Viduka again, brushing aside two Brazilians and brought down. Well, he is so strong. Look at that, Viduka pulled aside the number 3 for Brazil, Jean. Well, there were doubts when Brazil came here whether Luxemburgo's boys were ready to be men, but they showed that on Sunday that that's certainly the case. Agostino. The man to take the shot. Agostino curls it! Oh, that was a sensational try from Paul Agostino, looking for his second goal of the evening, but we must give some credit too to the Brazilian goalkeeper, Alexandre, because that took a deflection and Alexandre still got a touch on the ball and palmed it onto the crossbar. Well, the bench is up on their feet, look at that. They know how close that was to a second, and another substitution has been made. And Alvaro is coming on, the man who scored the opening goal on Sunday, straight up for the corner. And Alvaro taking away another corner for Australia there. Maloney to take it. A second now for Australia would really pile on the pressure. Curled in is a good one. That's it! A second goal, and it's Paul Agostino again. Listen to the MCG roar. And Ali and Frankie, the double act is working well today. For Paul Agostino. Brazil's defence didn't handle that ball well. Agostino reacted quickly, got it somehow under the goalkeeper.
Well, I don't know about you, but did he catch it on the forearm? Talking about not handling it well. Paul Agostino certainly did. I mean, that's the luck of football, isn't it? You make your own luck. He charged in at that near post. Nobody really went with him. He caught it on the forearm beautifully and tucked it nicely between the goalkeeper's legs. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, Alex trying to make up for lost ground and lost time as well. And look at him, he's pumped up now. Not surprising, because when the ball hit the back of the net, the noise here was just deafening. Quickly on Mozart. Take it quickly again. Danielson running at Muscat. Well, he almost found a way through Muscat. Credit to the Australian defender for keeping his eye on the ball. That's not easy in that situation. Brazil make two more changes. Oh, Kevin Muscat smiles. We're seeing another couple of Brazilians entering the fray. And it's a goal kick. It must be almost impossible to see the ball when you're marking Mark Viduka. He's so broad, he's got an ideal frame for a centre forward in the classic sense. Alexandre, a goal for Brazil, with plenty to say for himself. Ciato curls one in to the near post. Alexandre comes. Oh, great try. An opportunity that was barely half a chance from Agostino, but he's well warmed to the task now with 2 goals to his name. Just off the shins rather than off the laces. Frank Farina has seen a different time, different team tonight. Ocon with the long throw. Brought good results in the first half, aiming for Duca. The goalkeeper's been fouled. Lenny saying, just take the ball back a couple of metres and we'll all be happy. Less than 20 minutes remaining here at the MCG. Ocon, Viduka, using his body, he's fouled. So many of those types of fouls tonight. It's been very frustrating. And the foul has gone against Viduka. Well, Brazil are going forward with Danielson, and that's a corner while we were watching that replay. Well, certainly there was a bit from both players there, but the first foul was, without a doubt, from the Brazilian number 15, Alvaro. Teato keeping the ball in. Still Teato. Taken quickly. Brazil getting on with the game, and that's offside. Luxemburgo has really broken the tradition of the Brazilian coaches by wearing a jacket and tie on the bench. That's very un-Brazilian. They're all very much tracksuit managers, if you like. He's used over 70 players in his term so far as national team coach. There's another foul there on the back of Agostino this time. Taken. Thought it was going to be taken quickly. Mike Cockrell, more news from the bench.
Yes, I think we'll be seeing the end of Mark Viduka in this game. Sean Babbage about to come on.
Maloney. It's Australia 2, Brazil 0. And now Australia do make the change that Mike alluded to. Sean Babbage, the Marconi man, coming on for Mark Viduka. Babbage, top scorer in Australia's National Soccer League with 5 goals. Viduka loves the applause from the MCG, and they love him as well, and it's been a sparkling performance by Viduka tonight. And when you've got to make a long 24-hour flight to the other side of the world, it's far more pleasant when you've had a good game and your team's done well. Mark Viduka certainly has had a fine game tonight. Matthiessen. Ocon across there. Still a Matthiessen. Quick feet from him. Danielson. Early ball in is a good one. Loose man here. And that's a goal to Brazil. Well, the scorer is the man who was quiet the other night. It's Ronaldinho, who was perfectly placed at the far post. A simple header from him. And Brazil are mounting their comeback. Luxemburgo a little happier. Well, it was Danielson who provided the cross. No one really got a firm head on the ball until the last man did in Ronaldinho.
Yeah, it's those little clearances that you think, geez, we should have got that away again. Ronaldinho, the one who did the damage with that cross, just a curler, drew Zelko Kalak out from his goal as the boys argue the point.
Well, they do say there's no such thing as an international friendly. We're certainly seeing that here. Craig Moore's name goes into the book.
It's interesting, Paul, the coach screams at his left winger, Danielson, and all of a sudden he runs at players. You just wonder if that's what it takes to get some of these real world-class players up and running again. There was the foul that has caused the ruckus and got Craig Moore in a little bit of trouble for maybe a bit of retaliation. But Danielson down this left-hand side, once he's got a bit of a kick from his coach, has really let Kevin Muscat have a hard time. He was having a good time in the first half, but he really has made some quality crosses in this second.
As he provided the cross for Brazil's second goal on Sunday, he's provided another one here tonight. Ocon. That's a marvellous Look at that, bringing Maloney into the game. Tierson keeps the ball in. Gives it straight to Muscat. Skoko, Muscat. Maloney with another opportunity to get the cross in. Maloney again, early ball. Again it comes to Muscat. It seems to be falling to him every loose ball at the moment as Tiato comes in. There's under 13 minutes left in this game if Brazil are going to salvage something. Well, Ocon was chatting to his coach Frank Farina on the bench just on the touchline there. The pass was played to him. Just getting a bit of treatment, the Australian captain. So Australia down to 10 for the moment as Danielson looking to be dangerous once again. Taking on Muscat into the area. There's danger here. Well, the ball's not out, and now it is, and that was just quality defending from Kevin Muscat. What a good game he's had. It's a frightening thought. Danielson running at you with the ball in your own area where any loose tackle is bound to be a penalty. But he kept the ball in. Midfield, but Brazil come away with the ball. Danielson more and more involved in the game. It's a deep cross, just too deep for Fabio Jr. Mozart. Danielson again. Still Muscat forced to work overtime with some help from Maloney. Pulled it back as a very clever ball, but there's no one there. Still Brazil forward. 1 now. Have we got time to cross down to Mike Cockrell?
So Paul Hayden Fox about to come on. Paul Ocon feeling his hamstring, so he's about to be replaced. It's going to be a double substitution. In fact, Richard Johnson also on for Joseph Skoko in the next break to play.
Which is right about now. Great to see Hayden Fox getting a taste of the action. Player who really impressed in the games against Manchester United earlier this season. But Paul Ocon, well, he's wincing somewhat as he comes off. Paducah's got his treatment happening as well. Ocon goes off injured also. And Hayden Fox slipping into the centre of midfield. And Josip Skoko also off. 5 changes plus a goalkeeper allowed by both sides. And the rules of the encounter. Alex, first time touch. Ronaldinho out wide. Look at this. Oh, real pace in that attack. And applause, understandably, coming from the Brazilian number 13, Mancini. Brazil's third corner of the game. To take it. Calats. Well, they made that look pretty simple, but I can assure you that it wasn't. Just plucked it out of the air. Nine minutes remaining. Paul Wade, Hayden Fox into the centre of midfield, Richard Johnson into the centre of midfield.
I mean, the chances are being created against them inside the 18-yard box, but all the supply is coming through that midfield. And I think that's what Frank Farina's starting to think. The boys have done so much work in the middle of the park, they needed to be replaced.
Look at this, Agostino fell beautifully for him. Frank Farina can come away with a victory here. It will be a real feather in his cap. A man who's been under such enormous pressure right from the start of this tour, really, for one reason or another. First there was the Harry Kewell incident, then there was players injured last week in the lead-up to the first game. Australia didn't play at their best and were beaten 2-0 by Brazil. Ed Zelic left the squad earlier today. And his new system was 4-4-2. No one knew how it was going to work. Farina, a player who's not afraid to take chances. And so far it's paid off as Maloney's name goes into the book. Pearson will get there and doesn't win the corner because Maloney's stuck to the task all the way. Just on 7 minutes remaining now. Well won there. Agostino, little back heel to Johnson. You don't need to understand Portuguese to get the message that Luxemburgo is not a happy man. But he was a hero after they won 2-0 on Sunday. How quickly things can change in football. As Fox comes forward, he's got Tiato in space. Still Tiato onto the right foot. Well, Danny Tiato has been solid once again today. That time he cut in on his right foot, not his stronger side. That's what fooled the defender, I think. He's so used to him going outside, and Mancini there to watch Tiato go outside him all day on Sunday. Ronaldinho showing a little bit more of what he's all about. This is brilliant from Ronaldinho. Well, Johnson got the ball eventually, but tripped his man just prior to that. But it was simply sublime, the skills from Ronaldinho. Take a look at this. Players all around him. Two beaten. Well, that was a clean tackle by Richard Johnson. Alex and Ronaldinho over the ball. It's a short one played near post. Fox was watching it all the way. Johnson can't play. Laban just poking it down the line as Brazil step up a gear, go in search of this equaliser. Australian defence is really very much on the back foot at the moment. Look at the skill again by Ronaldinho, played across. Well, he's a different player tonight. The Brazilian Ronaldinho. There he is again. Hard to keep him out of the game. Four players around him. Chip to the back post. That is quality. Fabio Junior at the business end of the move. But you must just stand and admire Ronaldinho. It's 2-2 at the MCG. Past one there. There were four players around him at this point. He took it no further, but saw Fabio Junior, who had a bit of work to do himself at the back post, and that's a great goal.
Well, now you know what we mean when we say you've got to play 90 minutes against the Brazilians. How late was this goal? Amazing. There he is. There's the jubilation. He knows how much that means not to be beaten. Luxemburgo, the manager of Brazil. It just shows you this Brazilian side, they mean business. They don't want to get beaten by anybody. And as soon as they put the pedal down, you can see there's a little bit of urgency. All the free kicks have been taken so quick. And they've really pounded that Australian goal.
Well, all of a sudden, the momentum is in favour of the Brazilians. It's Australia it is who looks to be hanging on to what they've had. Fabio Junior, the scorer. Fox trying to just bring the ball down. Mozart got there in front of him. Fabio Junior. Ronaldinho, what can he come up with this time? Two players on him very quickly in Tiato. Well, that's one way to stop him. Ronaldinho. Well, it's a yellow card here. Just not quite sure which way it's gone against Eddie Lenny. There's a tug on the shirt there. So, 2 minutes into time added on. Alex over the ball. Brazil had plenty of yellow shirts in the area. Kalatz watchful on his goal line. Concentration at a premium now for the Socceroos, who've been caught out once or twice in this series in similar situations. Fabio Junior. Fabio Junior. Kalatz gets there. A nice bit of work from Fabio Junior, the player who plays in Serie A for Roma. Long ball from Kalatz. Babic is there. Little layback. Here's Johnson. Tiato. Is there a late winner for the Socceroos? Tiato is just cut short. He'll get a second opportunity here, though. Johnson again. Well, Babic got to the ball. He kept it in. But it just went to the goalkeeper. 5 goals in the NSL to Sean Babic. He'd like to open his international account now in time added on here at the MCG. Well, Ed Lenny blows the final whistle on a glorious evening of football in Melbourne at the MCG. Very much Australia to the fore once again, particularly in the first half when Agostino scored the only goal of the first 45 minutes. Mark Viduka was in scintillating form as well, and Agostino made it 2-0 to Australia in the second half. But then Vanderlei Luxemburgo, the Brazilian coach, brought on Alex, and he brought on a man called Ronaldinho, and what a difference he made to the game. The Brazilian superstar scored a goal himself and made another for Brazil, playing on the perfect cross for Fabio Junior. Terrific night here at the MCG. Great football from both sides. And it's finished up Australia 2, Brazil 2. And Mike Cockrell is down on the pitch.
Congratulations, Mark Viduka, Nike man of the match. You didn't get the goals. Great to see Paul Agostino get a couple. Disappointing at the end, I guess, the way we let it go, but a very positive display overall.
Of course, after the first game in Sydney, we were all disappointed that you know, we didn't show the Australian public some good football. But I think you know, I really think we came at them today and we played some good football. We took the lead. You know, it was a pity that it ended up a draw in the end. But you know, I'd like to thank all the people that have come out. You know, 80,000. You know, I think Melbourne's the best city in the world, and we just showed that we can support any code of football.
After all that's gone on in the last week off the field, the focus, the team spirit was absolutely magnificent tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we all wanted to clear up the bad name we had in the past week. You know, we've been hammered in the media the whole week, and some may think it's justified, some, you know, don't. But I think that we went out tonight and we showed that we could play against some of the best players in the world, and we almost came away with the victory. still, I personally am disappointed that we didn't win it, but you know, I'm happy that we showed some good football for the fans here, and hopefully next time they can come out in these sort of numbers.
Congratulations, Mark. Best of luck for the rest of the Scottish season.
Thanks very much.
Back to you, Tracy.
Thanks very much, Mark, and congratulations to Mark Viduka. The final scores here at the MCG: Australia 2, Brazil 2. There's been plenty of excitement here at the MCG tonight, and there's so much exciting sport here on 7 this summer.
I want to feel my pulse race.